the Japanese proverb, amefute jikatamaru, which means, after the rain, the ground becomes firmer. The earth is our home. Racially, people may be different, but in their hearts, they are the same. They really want peace.
In 1945, Takeo Taguchi was a fighter pilot in the Japanese Air Force, assigned to the defense of Tokyo. Today, a writer, educator, and lecturer in Japan, he resides not far from the city he once defended. James Hall was a member of a B-29 crew in 1945. Today, the president of a professional parachuting firm. He lives in California, where he instructs Air Force test pilots in free-fall parachuting techniques.
I enlisted to be a fighter pilot, but I was too young, and the Air Force needed bomber crews, so I was elected. The type of guys who wanted to fly were kids like myself, who didn't worry much about getting killed.
In the closing weeks of World War II, while the cities of Japan burned, the lives of Lieutenant Taguchi and Sergeant Hall came together briefly. Two fighting men, one Japanese, one American, relived that moment in history. In 1944, the capture of the Mariana Islands provides the United States with easily supplied air bases for its long-range bombers, only 1,500 miles from the Japanese mainland. The key to American air strategy is the revolutionary B-29. These heavily armed bombers, the largest produced in the war, are capable of flying at altitudes of 38,000 feet and are able to carry payloads up to 15,000 pounds. On November 24th, the first wave of Super Fortresses takes off for Japan in a series of raids designed to bring the Japanese people to their knees. While an American debate wages whether to continue precision bombing or to bomb the highly inflammable residential areas, more and more men are being rushed through training in the United States. One such airman, now at a replacement training center in Texas, is 18-year-old Corporal James Hall.
I'm stationed at the Pyote Rattlesnake Air Base. Until I got to Texas, I'd never seen a B-29 before. They're still highly classified. We have to have all types of security passes to get on the flight line. I'm amazed at the size of this aircraft. A huge thing. It looks too big to fly. We're really testing out these planes, mainly in long, monotonous flights over Texas and New Mexico. We have engine fires, landing gear malfunctions, bomb bay failures, and we lose some airplanes, but we iron out most of the bugs. I don't give much thought to the job I'm doing. I figure we're at war, and the men running this Air Force know a lot more about it than I do. We'll be training here until about April, and then be shipped overseas. They'll give us a new B-29 to take with us.
To meet the threat posed by the B-29s, the Japanese home defense system is reorganized. Special air defense squadrons are allocated to major cities and key industrial areas. Among the airmen assigned to defend Tokyo was a young fighter pilot, Lieutenant Takeo Taguchi.
I have been sent to the Tachikawa Air Base near Tokyo. Because there are not enough planes for us to fly, many of us have been reassigned to ground crews and anti-aircraft batteries. My battery will defend the sky over Imperial Palace. It is a very important responsibility. combat B-29s. They are too high for the range of our guns. Also, our guns are of inferior quality. They become so hot that they cannot be fired more. There is much use of the expression, 仕方がない, which means what cannot be done, cannot be done. Airplanes are even now bombing the field. I can see our planes being destroyed on the ground. More of our planes are being shot down in the air.
By the beginning of 1945, the B-29 raids are having a noticeable effect on Japanese war production, already faltering due to the tightening blockade and the loss of important foreign bases. As the B-29 raids intensify, Japan's defense measures become desperate. Over 8 million children and non-essential urban dwellers are evacuated to the country. Those who remain are mobilized into civilian defense brigades. Slogans such as 100 million, one mind are commonplace. But the average Japanese, faced with destruction at home and defeat abroad, has begun to lose trust in his military leaders. Only for the emperor do they reserve their wholehearted respect and devotion. He embodies the Yamato spirit, for which the Japanese will make any sacrifice, including life itself.
Evacuation to the countryside has been formally encouraged. Still, many people have preferred to remain in Tokyo. The transportation system is at a standstill. Streetcars, buses, trains, all have stopped or are giving limited service as a result of the raids. The electricity goes off frequently, and it is often impossible to send messages or to make phone calls. Are now being drafted. In the past, they had been deferred as a special group, but now they are being conscripted by whole classes.
In spite of inadequate planes and inferior guns, Japanese defenses are effective. After 22 raids, only 5% damage is done to industrial targets. In addition, unplotted headwinds over the mainland make precision bombing difficult.
There are very few men on Tinian who have been here a long time. The morale is quite good. The mess halls are made of wood. The food is adequate, mainly powdered eggs and Australian mutton. On my off-duty hours, I play baseball mostly, or swim a little. There are still Japanese in the jungles, and periodically they come out and raid the airstrips and burn a plane or two.
In March 1945, a decision is made. Mass formations of B-29s will strike Japanese cities at night, flying at low altitudes and carrying incendiaries. The first such raid is scheduled for March 10th. The target, the paper city of Tokyo.
The incendiary bombs fall from the sky like rain, almost noiselessly. Night is like day. Even the sky seems to be on fire. We watch Tokyo burn, and we are dumbfounded by the sight. We feel utterly helpless. The destruction is so great, and nothing can be done.
In one night, 15 square miles are reduced to ashes. 84,000 people lose their lives, and 1 million are made homeless. To a Japanese broadcaster, the sea of fire is reminiscent of the burning of Nero's Rome. March 1945. The B-29 air war against Japan is now unrestricted with raids on Nagoya, Osaka, Kobe, Yokohama, and other cities. Sensitive Japanese, each raid with all its horror produces a distinctive identification. The raid of the dancing flames, the raid of the leaping tigers, the raid of the fire wind. With all of Japan reeling from the air attacks, American military leaders search for ways of bringing the war to an end. Operation Olympic, scheduled for the fall of the year, will be the first invasion assault on the Japanese mainland. In the meantime, the air war is to continue. On May 23rd, a final knockout blow is directed against Tokyo. The pilots have orders to gut the city.
This being my first raid, everything is new to me. I really don't know what to expect. Of course, it's all very exciting. The rest of the crew have been on 31 missions. They're all extremely apprehensive. I guess they know what to fear, whereas I don't. Extremely low, about 2,000 feet above the ground. The bright moon reflects off the oil-stained wings. never seen anything like this. The whole city seems to be burning. There is no navigation problem at all. We have seen the fires a good 100 miles out. The glowing skyline reminds me of the steel mills in Pittsburgh. Suddenly, all the lights in Flack Alley pinpoint our bomber like a fly on a movie screen. I'm not scared, just surprised at what's going on. There is so much action. The flak is intense and accurate.
Tokyo is scratched from the list of incendiary targets. More than 1/3 of the city has been laid waste. American aircraft can now penetrate Japanese defenses with impunity. By July, Japan is on the brink of disaster. Casualties as a result of the raids are more than Japan's combined military losses to date. Japan's air losses have reached catastrophic proportions, nearly 2,000 planes a month. The civilian population, underfed, fatigued, and discouraged, are at the end of their endurance. In a last valiant effort, hundreds of Japanese planes are specially fitted for kamikaze attacks. If B-29s cannot be shot down, they will be brought down by mid-air ramming.
There is no longer time to analyze what we do. We are in a whirlwind. The individual has ceased to exist. If one is loyal, one must be prepared to die. We do not mind being kamikaze pilots. We're glad to do this for our country.
Japanese pilots scatter their lives over the cities of their homeland. A series of events have begun which cannot be stopped. It is the morning of August the 6th, 1945. In a matter of seconds, over 70,000 lives are snuffed out, and about 70,000 gravely injured. The atom bomb explosion has destroyed nearly 5 square miles of Hiroshima. Before Japan has time to recover from this Holocaust, an atom bomb is dropped on Nagasaki on August the 9th. On August 14th, the Japanese government decides to accept the distasteful allied terms of unconditional surrender. Atomic warfare has made further resistance futile.
We aren't really sure what's happened. We're happy about the war ending, but I don't think everyone believes this thing about the atom bomb. I think it might be some kind of propaganda device that gives the Japanese a good excuse to surrender. Perhaps the Japanese said we dropped a bomb, and we're just going along with it. There aren't any big celebrations, and as far as there being any big emotional letdown, there isn't any. We're just glad it's all over, that we'll be going home.
Officially, the end comes at 10:30 a.m., September the 2nd, 1945.
Let us pray that peace be now restored to the world and that God will preserve it always. These proceedings are closed.
In a moment, the conclusion of our story. Following the surrender of Japan, Lieutenant Takeo Taguchi will begin a new life amid the ruins of his country. After completing his studies in 1956, he will travel through the United States and Europe, making first-hand observations of educational systems. Sergeant James Hall will return to the United States in October 1945. He will re-enlist for 2 years and receive a commission in the Air Force. Later, as a university student, he will earn a degree in geology and engineering. American air power played a decisive role in achieving the final victory of World War II. The ruined cities of Japan were grim witness to the effectiveness of thousands of planes carrying hundreds of thousands of bombs. Yet it was 2 planes carrying 2 bombs that changed forever the future of warfare and the course of human history.